As indie developers, it's important to recognise when others do well, not just so that we can improve ourselves, but so that we can help support the community as a whole. And I thought, it's Halloween in a few days, the spookiest of all the festivities. Why not find some of the best free recent itch.io horror games that will give us nightmares, keep us up at night, and just get that adrenaline pumping. Also, I make these review advice videos every Tuesday, as well as project devlogs on my own work every Friday, so subscribe for all of that. And without further ado, let's just get into it. Our first game today is called Bump in the Night by Stepford, Slick Ramen, Tokyo Skyline, Batuhan, and Valentine. I didn't think pixels could be this scary, but here we are. Bump in the Night tells the story of a young child who disregarded their chores during the daytime and now must do them during the nighttime. Little did they know, huge monsters roam their house at nighttime, and you have to run away from them as you try and fix the leaky shower and turn the oven off. What struck me first about this game was the amazing contrast between the top-down level perspective and the level end screen. You go from this pretty standard top-down level view to a sort of drawn viewpoint of being in your bed at night at the end of each level. This helps keep the visuals really fresh and interesting. The field of view filter added to the player that only lets you see so far in front of you really helps add to the tension of this game, as you can never see if there's a monster right around the corner. I found myself multiple times having to just run away in the opposite direction as a monster leaped out of the darkness, catching me completely by surprise. The sound effects and the music subtly add to the dread that's just building throughout the whole game. And as you complete each task, you can hear the monsters out in the distance, but you're never quite sure where they're coming from. All of these sound effects, noises, and music just never let you quite get settled for more than a second. And the thing that scared me the most was definitely the end of the first night, and it will almost certainly get you too, so you should definitely check this game out and support this work by an amazingly talented group of people. Our next game is called Willow, made by Dan Howard. Willow is a tiny, stealthy spook 'em up made using the Pico 8 systems. And wow, I was instantly smiling as soon as this game loaded up. The colour palette for this game is just perfect, and the sprite for the little player is completely adorable. You wander around, or I guess you float around, trying to blow out little candles and run away from the little skelowags that are dotted around the level. You can misdirect these skelowags or skeletons to different locations on the map by using this spooky ability, drawing them to your current location, meaning you can then find a way past their guarded positions. This game is just so polished, and the music adds so much to the spooky but arcadey feel of the game. It's just so much fun floating around the 8 levels of this little game that I just want to play it again and again. And this feeling may be emphasised by the sort of Metal Gear Solid styled ranking system, because depending on how well you completed a level, you get a medal that ranks you based on your score. This just adds so much replayability as you try to perfect every single level as you just play through the game over and over again. If you're looking for a light-hearted but still Halloween-themed game to play, then this is the one for you. Great work from the dev on this one. Our next game is called Paranormal Entities by Al Heck. This is an entry into Scream Jam 2020 and it's pretty scary. This game is essentially just a short 15-minute story game that will literally scare the skeleton out of your body. It's really good at being terrifying. The idea for the setting of this game is awesome too. You play as a new freelance cameraman for a TV show that looks for ghosts, and you're just trying to pay off your student loans, which is the second most real thing in there apart from the fear that this game made me feel. You start off moving through this old abandoned hospital with the producer in your ear telling you what to do at each point. And the game actually starts to feel quite fun and comical until things start to take a real turn for the worse. And this game uses a lot of the standard horror game ideas, such as a flashlight for limited visibility, freaky sounds and you don't know where they're coming from, you know what I mean. But it does all of this expertly. And I mean, it just does all of these horror elements in a way that you can just feel in your bones. The manipulation of sound throughout the game is just perfect. The tone of the producer's voice in your ear sets up the next sequence of events so well, and the sound volume and effects rise and fall perfectly to just build that tension you want from a horror game. Each of the assets that go into building the level are put together in such a clever way that the level design develops in ways that I just completely wasn't expecting, which helped to make the game so much more scary. This game is an absolute masterclass in scary storytelling, and it's just amazing work by the developer. Awesome stuff. Our next game is called Can a Ghost Be Spooky by Dema Studios. If you want a slight change of pace, then you'll definitely want to check this game out. It does not take itself seriously at all, which leads to some brilliant jokes and really good laughs throughout the playthrough. And this game has a voice acting style that just completely sells the narrative you're being told. It just compels you to keep going through the story to find out more. One of my favourite features was all the text on all of the tombstones in the graveyard, each depicting a really funny joke, pun, or just story about how the person died. That combined with the fact that all of this world's inhabitants are already ghosts just makes a brilliant setting for this game. I think where this game really shines though is the use of humour to build tension instead of the typical clanging sounds and darkness. You're being entertained by all these little jokes here and there, but something always feels slightly suspicious. A feeling that might be furthered by the sort of slightly jaunty but off music or the uncannily cute art style. I feel this contrast can make the more tense moments of the game really stand out. And they stand out in a way that's completely unique, especially when compared to other horror games. It only takes 10 minutes to play, so why not give it a go? It's amazing work by Dema Studios for this delightful little game. Our final game is called See Me by Vitalia D. Another short story game, but it's scary in a very different way. It's a different type of horror, at least the way I saw the game. The game felt scary in a more existential mystery sense. You see, you play as this shadowy figure who hates mirrors for some reason. I mean, they really hate mirrors. And you move around the house smashing mirrors, and then you find some keys to get into more rooms to smash more mirrors. Did I mention that you smash quite a lot of mirrors? But in all seriousness, I'm doing an absolute disservice to the brilliant tone of this game. It's very ambient and sets itself up in such a way that you really want to get to the ending. And it wasn't until I got to the ending that I finally pieced it all together and worked out what had happened in this story, which made me feel emotions. And after thinking through those emotions, I then thought back to the opening line of the game. Mirrors are places where they can see you. I don't want them to see. And then the idea behind the game just freaked me out. Not in a jump scare way, but more in a existential thoughts that nag at the back of your mind for the next 2 days kind of way. And so I just have to recommend this game to you all as it's such a different design to the traditional horror game. Something that I would love to see more often. So awesome work to the developer here for coming up with something truly unique that really made me think. All of the games I featured today can be found as links in the description, so be sure to check them out and support other developers. I'll be back this Friday with a pretty good game of my own, if I do say so myself. And I'll be back again next Tuesday as well, so subscribe, like, comment, join the Discord and be a part of this awesome community we've started. And until next time, goodbye.